And that's just really what it is. And the biz. Check the time. About 7:35. 7:36. Oh, they gonna let me share something? See if they let me share something. Locksmith, knowledge is the key. See if I can share something real quick. None of the groups I want to share to is up here at the top. That's crazy. Yeah. Happy Sabbath to you all. And we live. I ain't gonna take up too much of your time. Just give a couple people to come give a chance to come through. What we talking about today? Well, of course, the title, Food and the People of God. Because that's exactly who we are. Yeah. And this is part 3. And let's see what we're talking about this evening. Oh, yes. Does God kill people through food? I know that's a deep statement. It's kind of a shocker. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to lie to you that, I ain't going to front to you that I didn't choose those words intentionally. But I don't think that it's it's a stretch from what it is that I'm trying to say. And what it is that we're going to read about. But for right now, I'm going to let the beat ride out. Say what's really good. I see y'all. Hadassah and Tina, what's good? Yeah, Locksmith, knowledge is the key. We on Facebook, Instagram, and this will be on YouTube in a quick second. But for right now, we live. Got a couple things that I'm going to share with you. Like I say, it's not going to take too long. You better get right back to your regularly scheduled program. That's my jam, by the way. Don't worry about if I own the rights to this song. I call it Cry. Tears. Right? Because we know that the Most High. First one I thought about is Judas. I know, right? Peaceful Sabbath. I see you. What's really good, bruh? We know that God cut down the years of man. But the question is, how exactly did he do it? And does the scripture enlighten us on that? Right? Because that's the only way we're going to believe it anyway, right? As we let the beat ride out. Peace to you, Brother Ben. What's really good, man? I appreciate you stopping by real quick, man. I hope to make it worth your time, right? Go on ahead and making sure my headpiece was warm. Here we go. So, one more time. The reason why we all gather here today, shout out to everybody who catching this live. Shout out to the many more people that's going to catch it afterwards. I ain't mad at you. Sabbath day, and it is a wonderful thing to have made it 7 more days, right? Shout out to Bay. Now, the topic of this evening, does God kill people through food? Season 1, episode 3, the food and the people of God. Does God kill people through food? And like I said in the captions previously, you could be the judge, right? Because again, you're going to work out your own salvation. So boom, right? So here we go then. I don't even really have a real intro, except that I say that my theory is, right? Because again, remember what this is. Always remember what this is when you're meeting with the locksmith. Usually, when you're meeting with the locksmith, unless you ask him a straightforward question, I'm really telling you what I'm teaching myself. Right? So, does God kill people through food? My theory is that from the time when people lived longer than 100 years until now. That food may have something to do with it. I think it's a strong possibility. I think it's evidence there. And we're going to look at some of this evidence right now. All right, so let's take it to the beginning. Genesis chapter 1. You know it's real when I don't even have a sermon first. Straight to the Bible reading. See what we can see. All right, Genesis chapter 1 and verse 11. Right, it says, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning was the third day. Right? So we got fruit trees. Right? We got vegetables, herbs, herb yielding seed. Right? The herb yielding seed. So you're talking about the herbs or the grasses with seeds in them. Right? And the fruit tree. All right. So this is the diet at creation. Right now, keep in mind that, I'm not advocating for veganism, vegetarianism, or carnivorism, omnivorism, none of that. I'm just reading something here. Right? And so far, we got vegetables. We got fruit trees and herbs. Verse 27, chapter 1. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, have dominion over the fish, and over the fowl, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth. Right? And just a pause right there, since we're talking about food. I wonder how many seeds, like when was the last time you ate some seeds? Now the thing is chia seeds and flax seeds. But I remember they used to say it was a thing not to eat the watermelon seeds. All right, but anyway. It say, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yieldeth seed. To you it shall be for meat. Right? So again, he talking about the every tree and the fruit of a tree yielding seed. Right? Fruit trees, herbs, right? And just for the record, the definition of the word fruit, it's a lot of debate whenever I ask the question. The definition of the word fruit, if you look it up on, I think this is University of South Carolina, Botany 101. The definition of fruit is the matured ovary of a flower and its accessory parts. Right? So fruit only occurs in flowering plants. Okay? Now, let's skip over to chapter 3. Right? Because that's before and during creation. Right? Peace to you. So far we got the fruit and herbs. Chapter 3, this is after the creation now. In the garden, it's cracking. Verse 17 actually is sin done happen now, right? We have verse 17. So 3 and 17, it say, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I have commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it was thou taken, dust thou art, unto dust thou shalt return. Right? I don't think I ever really thought about, we all eat bread today, so we just see bread like it's bread, and okay, it's bread. But no, in the creation, we were at fruit and herbs. Then in chapter 3, after sin, he started talking about bread. right? So what's the difference? What's different about bread than vegetables or fruits and herbs? Because bread come out the ground just like fruit and herbs come out the ground. So what's the difference? Difference is, of course, bread is cooked. Right? In the scripture, at least, bread is fried, bread is baked, right? Unleavened cakes, stuff like that, right? So the introduction of cooked food, right? Just saying, things that make you go, right? Let's flip over to chapter 6, right? Because this was the first time that God cut man's years down, right? Because actually in the beginning, when you get some understanding, Adam was created to live forever, right? Because he actually told him in chapter 3 that the day you eat of the tree is the day you're going to die. So if he didn't eat of the tree, then he wouldn't have died, right? So therefore, Adam, first time his years was cut was during sin there, right? Shout out to everybody on Instagram. Topic again is food and the people of God. Does God kill people through food? Right? Genesis chapter 6, because again, the first time God cut your lifespan or your longevity or your lifespan, I guess, was in sin. And the difference that he showed from your diet during creation to after sin was bread, right? I threw the cooked food in there because I don't know how you can eat bread if it's not cooked. I don't know if you could even call it bread if it's not cooked. So, but he said bread. Then in chapter 6 here, and verse 3, right? God gonna do something else. He gonna say something else. It's gonna go down again. And the Lord said, Genesis 6:3, and the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. For yet his days shall be 120 years. Now, if you know anything about Genesis chapter 6, this is when men began to multiply on the earth, right? And it says his spirit will not always strive with man, for he is also flesh, so his days will be 120 years, right? So we know that it happened, but how exactly, again? Is it by magic? Of course not, right? Matter of fact, let me ask this. When was man's days cut down to 120 years? Was it immediately? Was it Noah's? Food for thought, right? Because you think about it, the lineage, the chart I put up on Facebook earlier this week, the lineage, the 120 years thing really didn't, first person that I can remember reading about was Moses. That's a few generations after Noah, right? So how exactly, because I think Moses died at exactly 120, I think, right? So exactly when did it happen, right? Because remember, at this time when Noah was born, Methuselah was still alive. Methuselah 969, right? I read somewhere that you could do some math and find out that Methuselah died the year the flood came. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I think both of them lived into their 900s. All right? So, let's see. I think the rains came 500 years in Noah's life when he was 500. And they say he stepped off the boat when he was 600. Right? So, the rain started the year his father passed. Because, of course, Noah was one of the sons of God. Right? When you read the New Testament and the lineage of Jesus and Noah's fathers. So, can't kill them with the flood because you kill the wicked with the flood. So had to wait until Methuselah died for sure before you could flood, right? Okay, but I'm getting off course. So how did he get to the 120, right? Genesis chapter 9. Flip over to chapter 9 because he said he was going to cut man's days to 120. Right? Now let's read something here. Genesis 9 and 1. Because think about the timeline. We need to go back and read through this section again, right? Because I don't want to read all of it, keep you here for a long time on the Sabbath day. But from Genesis 6, when he said, I'm going to cut man's years down, right after that, he started talking about this ark. And then Noah building the ark, and the ark happening, and the flood happening. And then chapter 9 is what happened when he get off the ark, right? So, there's no other events other than him being commanded to build the ark, and he built the ark after, hey, look, I'm cutting man's years down to 120. And we just discussed that Moses was really the first one that I can read. Remember, read. Feel free to comment if you know a dude who died before Moses, who died at 120, right? The Lord took him, right? Even talking about how the Lord took Moses, right, at 120. So, then we get to Genesis 9, boom. And verse, what I say? I'm reading verse 1. It say, and God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth and upon all the fishes of the sea. And into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb, I have given you all things. Right? Now, all of a sudden, I used to think all of a sudden, right? But now I don't think all of a sudden. I think at this point, the Lord allowed Noah and his children to eat meat in order to bring prophecy to pass. Right? And that's why I'm reading it in this order, so you can see that from the beginning, it was just fruit, trees, and herbs. Then after sin, you could eat bread. And then when you got too wicked, he had to flood the whole world. Now you can eat meat, because I can't let you get, my God, be 500 years old. My goodness, let them eat meat so, slow it down a little bit. You understand? Right? And so I don't keep it too long, one more thing. He cut our years down again, right? Because how many people live to 120? Right? We celebrate them on Facebook. So we're going to read about one more time when he cut your years down. But before we do, I want to read Ecclesiastes chapter 10. I want to look at something else before we get to looking at that last time where he cut our years down. If I could find Ecclesiastes, it's after Proverbs and before Isaiah. And it's after Song of Solomon. Nope, it's before Song of Solomon and after Proverbs. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, because with this food thing, like I said last week, the general question, this is the ongoing question of the series, right? I should have repeated it at the beginning. The question of this series is, do you think Jesus even cares how big your portions are whenever you eat? Whether it's the feast day or for breakfast on a random Tuesday or any day on a Sabbath day. Like, doesn't matter how much of anything you eat. And how do you determine that? Right? But anyway, Ecclesiastes chapter 10, because the Lord cut our years down a bunch of times, and we want to check out something before we look at the last time. 10 and verse, 17. It says, blessed art thou, O land, when thy king is the son of nobles, and thy princes eat in due season for strength and not for drunkenness. All right? I know all Israel turn up because Israel love to quote the scripture to me. And I can dig it, right? Because blessed are you when you eat for strength, right? And the problem is that the locksmith, I'm not going to let you get away with the general. You can't come just general and say, yeah, you're supposed to eat for strength. Like, we understand that because we read the scripture. But this is America, baby. How many people you know go shopping and say, oh, yeah, let me get this because this is going to make me strong? You only say that when you're talking to your children, talking about vegetables. Nobody walks about, Saturday night or Wednesday after work talking about what can I eat that's going to make me strong. Of course he cares. We are told to have temperance, self-control, and not to be a glutton. Turn up. How do we define gluttony? How do you know when you've had too much? Right? I love that answer, by the way. How do you know when you've had too much? And not just you personally, but how do you define that when you preach the gospel? Right? I like that answer, though. Right? So, again, for strength and not for drunkenness, right? Because, we're supposed to eat for strength and we're supposed to also eat for sustenance, right? But check it out. In America, why do you eat? Why do you eat? You, and you. Locksmith, why do you eat? Eat because you're sad? Eat because you're depressed? Right? Or eat because you're hungry? Right? Because that should be okay, right? If I eat because I'm hungry, right? Thirst for the word, stuff like that. Emotional eating, you did? Think about this. Quick question. Where is the place that you eat, or not you personally, but where is the place that most people eat popcorn? Right? That's the survey, right? I'm going to keep going, but I want y'all to answer. I don't care if somebody else already answer anyway. Type it in because my phone's slow, so you got to type fast. When do you eat popcorn? All right. When is it standard that people eat popcorn? Right? Because we eat fried dough or elephant ear. We eat that when we at the carnival, when we at Six Flags. Right? We eat donuts and muffins when we at meetings because we trying to stay woke, absorb the information. Right? Or we eat snacks because we trying to eat during class and stay woke while what's going on because we so tired because we work or whatever we did. Right? God forbid you should have to do that 5-6 times a day, eating while you're snacking, while you're in class, and just trying to stay woke. Or why? Because you're watching TV. What up, cuz? That's what I'm talking about. Eating just because you're watching TV. Right? Oh, y'all talking about that popcorn jam. The movies. Shout out Judea. Right? Because that's what I was thinking. But for sure, I guess people eat popcorn in bed. People popcorn in front of the TV. I could dig it. It's kind of like the movies for sure. For sure. Say moderation in all things, including food. Gluttony is overdoing anything. I can dig that too. How do you define it though? What's overdoing it? Right? Because some people's overdoing it still leave some people hungry. But again, I like that answer, though. I like the answer. Right? Last scripture. Let's go to, I think that's Psalms. Y'all know where it's at. Psalm 70. I heard that women eat ice cream when they heart broke. Y'all can let me know. I don't know. Let's see. I did that. Yeah, Psalms 99. Because it say, blessed are the rulers when you eat for strength, because that's what you're supposed to be eating for. And I know that it's a lot of resistance to this. I understand that's why nobody want to deal with what scriptures say concerning this. Right? And I repeat the question, does God kill people through food? That's why we all gather here today. Right? And we on that last scripture. Just one more time, the summary first. God created fruit and herbs for man to eat. Put him in the garden. Man sinned. God said, hey, look, now by the sweat of your face, you're going to eat bread with the thorns and the thistles. And you're going to have to grow the stuff now and work. But we talking about eating. He said, bread. Then he cut man's years down again around Noah. And next thing after the flood, he said, look, you can eat meat. Right? Then we just read that, blessed are you when your people eat for strength. All right, then Psalms 99 and verse 9. Here we go. Last one, baby. 99 and 9. Oh, no, 90. My bad, not 99. 90, that ain't it. I was like, oh, my gosh, what's that? Psalms 90, right? Some of y'all sharp Hebrews, y'all sharp Bible readers. I know y'all was on it already. Y'all knew I was in the wrong spot. Psalms 90, it's all good. Psalms 90 and verse 9. And it says, for all our days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told. Right? You know how long it takes to say a tale? You tell a tale in a few minutes. That's how long our life is, right? But keep going. The days of our years are 80 years and 10, right? A score is 20. So 80 is 60 and 10 is 70. And that's our years. And it's by reason of what? Of strength. They be 80 years. That's 80. Yet is their strength, labor, and sorrow, for it is soon cut off and will fly away. Right? Now, I'm not going to get lost in the cut off and fly away, because of course we get cut off and fly away. But it say 70 years is your years, and by reason of strength. Right? Locksmith, what are you trying to say? Why you keep saying strength? Because we just read in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 17, that you're supposed to eat for strength. Right? So, shout out to Brother Wu. What's really good? So, recap. In the beginning, God created herbs and fruits and nuts and seeds. And then said the man gonna eat that. Created the man, put him in the garden. Said, go, eat. Just don't eat that one. And then he went over, ate that one. And then he said, okay, you ate that one. So now you get to mix the thorns and the thistles with your herbs and fruits to work for it. And you can eat bread, which is a cooked food. Then, when man got really wicked, he told Noah, I'm going to cut man's years down to 120 years. Pardon me, I don't know if he told Noah. But he said he was going to cut man's years down to 120 years. And then told Noah to build the ark. After the flood, he told Noah, hey, you can eat meat now. And then about 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 generations later, with Moses, the first person I can think of, remember reading, go Google it on your phone, as living 120 years and dying, rather. Right? Then we live 70 years unless it's because of what we eat, which is the word strength, which is what we're supposed to be eating for. Strength. Right? Which is what the wisest man ever lived wrote in his book, Ecclesiastes. Strength. Right? So, eating for strength. Not eating because you upset. Not eating because you got disrespected. Not eating because, I don't know. You know. And when I say not eating because of, I'm just throwing some stuff around. Like I say, you be the judge. That's the point of this. You be the judge. Right? Shout out to my big brother Wu. Let me just read a couple things here. You're not supposed to stop eating when you feel full. By the time you feel full, you have overeaten. Okay, turn up. I can dig that. We can get strength or life from eating dead things. We cannot get strength or life from eating dead things. I can understand that. How can one get life out of death? We cannot. True that. Hey, shout out my big brother Will. I see you, bro. What's really good. Unfortunately, I got to get on up out of here. I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure you rewind that back. We were talking about the food in the people of God? And does God kill people through food? Elizabeth, if you can, real quick, tell me what you think. Do you think God kills people through food, meaning that he cut their lifespan through the food he allowed them to eat? That's deep. That's a deep thought. I love to hear what everybody think about that statement. Feel free to drop it in the comment. Brother Wu, you should hit me up, man. Hit me up on the text or something, man. Let me know what you think, man. Do you think that God cut our life because, by way of the food he allowed us to eat? Right? Rewind it back. Big brother Will, let me know what you think too, man. Really interested to know what you think. Rewind it back. Let me know, man. All right. In the meantime, in between time, man, I'm out of here, man. It's not on YouTube right now, but it's about to be on YouTube in a few minutes, though. All right. Turn. Peaceful Sabbath. Love this topic on my mind. Dig deeper. I can dig that, sis. That's what's up. Turn.